The year is 1640. Imagine a world where the horizon is not defined by glass and steel, but by a forest of stone spires and the shifting gray veil of the North Sea mist. We stand on the precipice of a century that will redefine the human experience. Yet here, in the heart of London, time moves to the rhythm of the tides and the tolling of 100 bells. This is a city of timber and coal, of narrow lanes and expansive ambitions. It is a place where the Middle Ages still linger in the shadows of overhanging jetties, even as the first whispers of a modern empire begin to stir. To look upon London in this moment is to see a living organism, breathing through its crowded ports and pulsing with the restless energy of nearly 500,000 souls. It is a city of profound contrasts, where the divine right of kings meets the rising defiance of the common man, all set against a backdrop of wood smoke and the eternal, murky flow of the Thames. As the sun begins its ascent, the city slowly exhales. The morning light struggles to penetrate the thick layer of sea coal smoke that hangs perpetually over the rooftops, casting a soft, amber glow upon the jagged skyline. The first sounds of the day are not the mechanical hum of an engine, but the rhythmic splashing of oars and the distant, melodic cries of watermen ferrying passengers across the river. The Thames is the city's grand highway, a silver ribbon choked with barges, lighters, and majestic sailing ships returning from the distant corners of the globe. On the streets, the sound of iron-rimmed wheels grinding against cobblestones signals the awakening of commerce. The air is cool and damp, carrying the scent of salt air mingled with the heavy aroma of baking bread and the pungent tang of the tanneries. The buildings, many of them centuries old, lean toward one another across the alleys as if sharing secrets, their timber frames creaking under the weight of history out by mid-morning. The city is a kaleidoscope of human movement. In the markets of Cheapside and Smithfield, the texture of life is tactile and raw. Hands reach out to touch bolts of coarse wool and fine Flemish silk. Fingers press into the flesh of seasonal fruits and the cold scales of river fish. The streets are a tapestry of social strata. Here, a merchant in a fur-trimmed doublet sidesteps a mud-splattered apprentice writing a message to the Guildhall. The noise is a symphony of shouting vendors, the clatter of horseshoes, and the constant chatter of a population that lives its life largely in the open air. There is a specific gravity to the routine, the way a housewife balances her baskets, the way a laborer shoulders a heavy crate of spices. It is a world governed by the physical, where every object has weight and every interaction is underscored by the visceral smells of damp earth, horse manure, and the faint, sweet scent of tobacco rising from a tavern doorway. Yet, beneath this facade of industry, a heavy tension permeates the air like a gathering storm. In 1640, London is a tinderbox of political and religious fervor. At Whitehall, King Charles I maintains a court of rigid elegance. Convinced of his sacred authority, while only a few miles away, the men of Parliament and the city's radical preachers sharpen their tongues. There is a sense of waiting, a feeling that the old foundations are beginning to crack. Men gather in the corners of St. Paul's Cathedral, not to pray, but to exchange pamphlets and discuss the king's latest taxes or the perceived creeping influence of Rome. The atmosphere is thick with suspicion. Every sermon heard in a parish church is analyzed for its loyalty. Every toast raised in a pub is a potential act of sedition. The people of London are no longer mere subjects. They are becoming a force of their own, and the friction between the Crown and the Commons is generating a heat that will soon set the nation ablaze. Looking upward, the architecture of the city serves as a silent witness to these shifting powers. The great stone bridge, with its houses and shops clinging to its back like barnacles, remains a marvel of the age, a narrow bottleneck connecting the city to the raucous theaters and pits of Southwark. To the east, the Tower of London looms, a grim reminder of royal might and the finality of the executioner's axe. The skyline is dominated by the old Gothic shell of St. Paul's, its spire lost to lightning years ago, yet its massive bulk still commanding the horizon. These buildings are more than shelter. They are symbols of an inherited order. The timber-framed houses, with their intricate carvings and leaded glass windows, reflect a medieval craftsmanship that is slowly giving way to the cleaner, more classical lines favored by the court. It is a city caught between two aesthetics, much as it is caught between two eras. However, the grandeur of the spires masks a darker reality. In the shadow of the wealthy merchant's townhouse lie the Rookery's labyrinthine slums where the air is stagnant and death is a frequent visitor. Here, the struggle is not for political liberty, but for the next meal. The inequality of 1640 London is etched into the faces of the poor, who live in rooms so crowded that breath is shared. Disease is a constant, invisible specter. The plague is a memory that never truly fades, a sleeping giant that could wake at any moment. The contrast is jarring, a velvet-clad nobleman passing a beggar whose rags are stiff with the filth of the gutter. There is no social safety net, only the meager offerings of the parish and the cold, hard reality of the workhouse. The city is as cruel as it is beautiful, demanding a resilience from its inhabitants that modern minds can scarcely comprehend as evening falls. The clamor of the day fades into a low, flickering twilight. The thousands of candles and hearth fires create a soft orange haze that mirrors the stars above. We look upon this London and see the blueprint of our own world, the birth of global trade, the struggle for representative government, and the enduring human spirit that survives fire, pestilence, and war. The city of 1640 is gone, buried beneath layers of brick and asphalt, yet its heartbeat remains. It was a place of mud and silk, of tyranny and hope, a city on the edge of a revolution that would change the world forever. We watch the tide of the Thames retreat, knowing that the morning will bring a new age. Yet for this moment, we remain suspended in the haunting, beautiful shadows of a London long lost, now reimagined.